At the top of Mauna Kea, on the island of Hawaii, the tallest mountain in the world, there is a magical place, a secret snow village. When the snow falls, it is time to get ready for Christmas and all holidays on Earth. Some do not believe such a place could exist in Hawaii, but it is true. This is not a place for sending out presents, but places where each prayer is heard and processed, a place where the wishes and hopes are sent to the dreamers as they sleep. I'll share with you a short story, a true story indeed. Tommy was a young man. He lived in a city that had seen better days. The work wasn't steady, and everyone seemed to be fighting with each other. One day, Tommy was walking downtown. He saw in the window a large poster that said, "Paradise." The poster stated that for only $500, you could visit paradise for 7 days. Tommy walked into the building and asked the agent about the poster in the window. The agent told Tommy that he was happy he stopped in to inquire. The agent asked him to sit down and he would explain the details. After a few minutes, Tommy had booked a flight to paradise. The agent said to travel light and be on time at the airport. The day arrived, and Tommy was on the plane ready for his adventure. He told the lady sitting next to him that he had never been to paradise. The lady said, "You will love the sun and sandy beaches." After hours of flying, Tommy could see the islands below. The captain of the airplane said, "Attention, we'll be landing soon in paradise." Everyone on the plane cheered. Once the plane stopped, the doors opened. Tommy could feel the warm air and everyone cheered. Tommy arrived at his room, laid down his travel bag on the baggage stand. He opened the curtain and before him was the warm sun and sandy beaches. Tommy said to himself, "I better get some sleep before heading outside." He pulled the curtains shut and laid down on his bed. Soon Tommy was dreaming about the mountain he had seen as the plane was landing. The woman was wearing a long robe with a hood on top concealing most of her face. The woman said, "You need to visit the top of the mountain. There's a secret snow village up there." Tommy said he didn't see anything as they flew over the mountains. The woman opened her hands and showed him a snow globe. She held the snow globe up to his face, and he could see a village and people walking on the streets. The woman asked Tommy to look closer. Tommy peered into the snow globe, and he jumped back in disbelief. He said that I saw myself standing on the sidewalk looking at the decorations on the trees. Tommy looked up to the woman and asked, "How can this be?" The woman said, "When you wake up, you will find your way up to the top of the mountain. Once there, everything will be revealed." Tommy slept for a long, long time. When he woke and he remembered the dream, he thought the dream seemed so real. Tommy went out and enjoyed the fruits of his labor, good meals, reading on the warm, sunny beach and walking along the streets, visiting the shops. Tommy saw a sign in a shop window, "Visit Paradise for only $500, round trip." The agent asked him to take a seat, and he explained the trip. Tommy stopped the man and said, "That's the city where I live." Tommy said the signs back home said this was paradise. The agent smiled. He said, "How do you define paradise?" Tommy said, "This is paradise. I'm not in the cold weather and I actually saw the sun here." Tommy asked the agent if he had heard of a snow village at the top Mauna Kea. The agent's face looked puzzled. The agent, if someone told him this story, Tommy said he had a dream of a magical place at the top of the mountain. The agent said, "I've lived here all my life and I never heard or seen such a thing." Tommy went to his room and looked at the mountain. Something was telling him to go up there and look for yourself. The next morning, Tommy packed his travel bag with clothes and food. It was a wonderful trip up to the top of the mountains. Soon it began to snow. Tommy parked his car. He figured he would walk the rest of the way. The snow was becoming more intense as he neared the top. Suddenly, the woman in his dream appeared. She asked Tommy to follow her. The snow slowed down, and before him was the city in the snow globe. They arrived at the decorated trees, and he stood there in disbelief. He said, "This is exactly the way it was in my dream." The woman said, "Oh, but your thoughts and prayers reached me, and now I'm your dream guardian." She pulled back the hood of her robe, revealing her face. Tommy said, "You are the lady on the plane. You were sitting next to me." She smiled and said, "Yes." "Would you leave paradise and visit my city?" She said, "Oh, I was leaving paradise to go home. This is my home." Tommy looked puzzled. "My city isn't paradise. This is paradise." She said, I spoke to the Star Council. Tommy, we have a question. Would you like to live here forever? Tommy laughed out loud, immediately said yes. She took him to a place where he could live for the rest of his life. Tommy couldn't believe his fate. Tommy asked, why do snowflakes fall constantly every day and night? The woman looked up and said, each snowflake is a prayer, a request, their hopes and dreams. Tommy looked up and said, I'll never see snowflakes in the same way, ever again. More time went on in the snow village. Tommy was having the best time of his life. The food was delightful, the people were friendly, and Tommy loved sitting on a downtown bench every day to read his books. After a few months, Tommy began to think of home. The next day he went to visit the woman. Tommy was holding a snow globe. Inside the snow globe was his city, decorated for the holidays. He saw himself standing on a sidewalk looking at the snow-covered trees. Tommy said, I appreciate everything you have done for me. It is beautiful here, but I would like to go back home. The woman smiled. She held out her hand and a single snowflake fell on her palm. She held her hand up to his face and said, I have been seeing your request for a while. She said, after living long enough, I have experienced many things on this earth. I have found that paradise is not a physical place, but a place inside of you. Tommy was still looking at the snow globe she had given to him. He said that he would like to go back home. She smiled and said, you mean you wish to go back to paradise? Without saying anything, Tommy put the snow globe into his travel bag. The next morning, Tommy and the woman got on the plane. He asked, why are you traveling back with me to my city? She laughed and said, oh, there is someone with hopes and dreams, and they want to visit paradise, like you. The woman said, after traveling many miles, you will find that there's no there. It's all inside of you, in your heart and soul. Tommy pulled out the snow globe from his travel bag. He handed the snow globe to the woman and said, good luck with the next soul seeking paradise. It was night when they arrived at the airport. Tommy looked down and he saw his city in a new way, in a good way. As she was leaving the plane, the woman pulled the hood up over her head and said, it was nice meeting you. Tommy felt the cold air of his paradise. His heart was feeling a bit warmer. A tear rolled down his cheek. He was home. The end. I do hope you enjoyed this short story as much as I did. This is a short story written by Kelly Dunn. We wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year from everyone here at the Painted Trees of Hawaii, Kona Cloud Forest and 808 Hawaii Tours. Aloha and Mahalo.